Hey everyone, my name's Christy. Welcome to my corner. Thanks for joining me today for Flosstube number 81. And I've been doing a lot of stitching this week. Like I've been doing some serious stitching this week. So I'm super excited to show you my progress on all sorts of projects. I have two stitching like surface freehand embroidery fully finished objects. I have a fully finished woven wall hanging. I have a couple of whips and progress on those whips. I have a little bit of haul. And I have some fun announcements. Well, I have a fun announcement. So before we get to that, I want to welcome my new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me on my crafty and artistic adventures. And welcome to everyone who's been hanging out with me for however long you've been with me. It has been so great to get to know you in the comments here on YouTube and also on Instagram. And if you're not following me on Instagram, you can find me in two places. One is active, one is inactive. But as I say every week, hopefully at some point I will post a picture to it. Anyway, I'll put them both right here. The active one is Dr_Christy, and that's where I post, that's my normal Instagram account where I post my stitching and my life, mostly stitching, some of my dog, some of my other things too, but that's at Dr_Christy. And then the other one over here, wherever it is the spoolery, and that is my homage to vintage wooden spools. And I really want to start making things out of spools again. In fact, I have a woven wall hanging that I just have to finish up weaving in the ends and stuff that has spools incorporated into it. And I think that I have two of them and I think they look pretty cool. So I will post those as soon as I am able to do so. This is a channel about embroidery and cross stitch and other textile crafts and weaving and history and the history of all of those things. So if any of that is interesting to you and you're not subscribed, I'd love to have you subscribe and stick around. So it's Saturday, and I think going forward, I just need to plan on Saturdays. And I've been thinking about this anyway. So I got a promotion at work, and thank you all so much for your kind words about my promotion. I don't know if I've thanked you all kind of in video form. I know I thanked a lot of you in the comments, but I did get a promotion, and a lot of the meetings happen on Fridays during the semester. I'm a college professor, so we don't teach classes in Friday afternoons, and so that's when they basically schedule all our meetings. I just don't see myself being able to film a Flosstube on Friday. So I'm going to start going forward, and I had sort of been aiming that way anyway, to film on Saturday at some point, and then hopefully get it posted on by Saturday evening, but if not, get it posted Sunday morning. I don't think anyone cares but me. The only sad thing is that Flosstube Friday was such a good alliteration. And I love me a good alliteration. So that's kind of the only bummer of the whole shifting a day. But, you know, I gotta keep my dog in the lifestyle to which he has become accustomed. And that involves working. So I will have to do that. I also have not heard from Charlene Otting, who won the personalized solar system pattern from like forever ago. I just called her name. I just redrew it and called her name last week, and I have not commented on the comments. So I'm going to comment on your comment, and hopefully you will get in contact with me. But if you see this before I do that, please shoot me a message on Instagram at Dr_Christy, or shoot me an email at christyscornercraft@gmail.com, and that's that's down below in the description down below. I would love to kind of make that and get that up for you. I do have, I don't know, I don't remember what I've said now because this is my second time doing the intro. But I think I'm going to start with my weaving finish. So I don't have anything on the loom, but I do have a weaving finish. I got in here this past week and did some weaving, and I love it. And I love it. How wonderful is this? I'm so proud of myself. And this here is a new stitch for me. I don't know what it's called, but I think it's fantastic and it makes me really happy. So this is my newest woven wall hanging. I'm not loving how this is kind of uneven, but I don't think I can do anything about it because the way that it's plied, it's a 2-ply yarn that's super bulky. So I just don't know how I can make it not look like that. Oh, and it goes with my shirt. I'm very color coordinated today. And you'll see my nails are also color coordinated with other things that I've stitched. Anywho, This is using all sorts of different fibers, including some velvet and wool and acrylic and all sorts of different textures. And I love how it turned out. And I think this is a style that I really like, where it's sort of geometric natural. Is that a style? Can I coin that? This is geometric natural, where you have a lot of sort of geometry, but in some ways it's very organic. Geometric organic. Maybe geometric organic. Anyway, I finished this. And that is fully finished number 1. Fully finished number 2, you saw finished last week, and that is my needlebook. I finished it into a needlebook this week, and this is going to be my online virtual embroidery class that I'm planning on filming this week, and then kind of releasing the videos every Tuesday for probably 2 months. It'll probably be 8 sessions. And it is fully hand sewn. There's no machine sewing in this at all. It is a needle book with a scissor pocket, and this one has 4 pages. It uses, the embroidery itself uses 8 different stitches, and then there is an extra stitch around the outside, a running stitch, and this I've used a blanket stitch. So essentially you're going to get 10 different stitches and how to stitch them and how to make a needle book and put it together by hand. So like I said, you don't need a machine. If you have a machine, that makes it go quicker, but I wanted to make something that everyone can do. This is a beginner project, and I'm happy to show you how to do that. So yeah, I'm really pleased. I'm pleased with it. Oh, and it matches my nails. That's what I was saying. Yeah, I just used stuff I had around the house, and if you don't have like interfacing and stuff, you might need to go out and buy a little interfacing, but other than that, it's just scraps of fabric and scraps of felt, and this is like not super expensive wool felt, and then just some ribbons I had lying around. I love it. I love it so much. And I would have put an extra pocket right here, but I don't know if you can tell, there's like gold kind of, I don't think you can tell. There we go. You can kind of tell. There's kind of gold sparkles like throughout this fabric, and I'm really bummed out because the good gold is actually under this pocket here. But I was gonna put another pocket here, but I wanted a gold sparkle. So I'll talk you through how to put a pocket here too if you want an extra pocket for bobbins and such. But that is my second fully finished object, and I will teach you how to do that in the next couple months. And then my third fully finished object is a watermelon on a handkerchief. So I got, and I've talked about these for a while, I got these peel, stick, and stitch patterns, like little tiny patterns from M Creative J for a review, which I'm hoping I'll be doing on Tuesday. And I got the mushrooms, which you saw on my shirt last week, I think. I put them on a shirt collar. And then this week I'm doing the fruit on handkerchiefs. And I made this handkerchief. It is a linen handkerchief that I made out of just linen linen yardage I got from fabricstore.com, and it's handkerchief linen. But I tried, so if you look, I mean, it's clearly a watermelon, and I tried to make the back, if not exactly the same, at least similar enough that it looks nice, because with handkerchiefs you're seeing both sides, so I want it to look nice. And so, and let me get a little closer. So this top here, it looks like a back stitch, but it's actually a Holbein stitch or a double running stitch. And so it looks the same on the front and the back. And I'm really glad I did that, because I'm really happy with how the back looks. And it just looks really, there we go. It just looks really, really neat, and I like it. Neat as in like, neat, that's cool, but also neat as in tidy, and I like it. So that's the first. I'm doing 3 of them, and in fact, I might just talk about plans right now because I have 2 more I want to do. Sorry, I'm folding it up. So I have this watermelon on teal, and this is a very teal color. It looks much bluer than it is. It's more like that color of this. Whoop, there we go. It's more like that color than the color you're seeing. Same with my nails, actually. And funny enough, while I get out the other ones I'm doing, I did a video. I use handkerchiefs all the time. And in fact, I don't buy tissues anymore. I just use handkerchiefs. And I did a video about how I fold my handkerchiefs so that way, like, they don't get all goopy and I have like a clean place I can blow my nose every time I want to blow my nose. And I'll put that up here. I think it's up here. I'll put that up there. And the algorithm has been loving it lately. Like, that's my most watched video in, well, almost ever. And definitely in the last month. Like, I did it like over a year ago. And for some reason, it's gone wild. So if you're interested in starting to use handkerchiefs, and I love handkerchiefs. Like, I feel so good about not buying tissues. I live in Mississippi in the United States, and we have layers of pollen. And I have horrible allergies in Mississippi. And I was going through like a couple boxes of tissues a month. And I started using handkerchiefs, and it has been amazing. And I love them. So I have like 20 handkerchiefs that I co-opted. I had gotten some linen napkins from my grandmother, and I wash them and I use them and I love them. And I think about my grandmother every time I get them out, as opposed to them sitting in a drawer and never being used. So there we go. Okay. So if you're interested in learning how to fold a handkerchief, check out that video. Now the other two I have a white one and a pink one. This is the pink one, and it's washing out a bit. It's a nice, light, peachy pink. And I'm going to do, I think, a lemon slice, because this could be lemon or lime. It's going to be a lemon slice. And then I have a cotton. Oh, and I made this one as well out of the same kind of linen. And then I have a cotton, which is a white cotton handkerchief that came in a pack. And I have a dragon fruit, which I thought would look amazing on that, because dragon fruit are so pretty. Dragon fruit are probably the prettiest fruit. If I had to choose a pretty fruit, it would be dragon fruit. I don't know that they're super tasty. I mean, they're sweet and juicy and whatever, but they don't have much flavor. But as far as like pretty goes, you can't beat it. And I'm just keeping this in my adulting awards little project bag that I got at my local bookstore. And it's like you get awards for eating a vegetable and taking a shower and putting your pants on. I love that. This is from Out of Print is the company that makes these. But I got it at my local bookstore. So those are my finished objects, and that's my plans. And just to continue on with that information, I have one more packet that I want to try out, which is landscapes. And I'm going to hopefully be able to finish one of these into a brooch situation, and then do a review on Tuesday. And I'll talk about the pros and the cons and my feelings about it, and the different stitches I used in the and why I use them and that kind of thing. So it'll probably be a longer video than most review videos, I think, but I really want people to know how I use them, and how they're like, in what ways they're like really useful and in what ways maybe they're not as useful. So, or some pitfalls that you could fall into, you know, stuff like that. And I want to make sure that I do a quality review. It's my first review, so I want to make sure that I do a quality review that is also honest. All right, let's talk whips. I am pretty sure that I have worked on my temperature drink shelf. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. I'm pretty sure that when last I saw you, so here's what it looks like now. I'm pretty sure I only had half of those June drinks done. So I finished up the June drinks when I was on a call with my mom last Sunday. I always work with my mom on Sundays. And tomorrow night, which is Sunday, like the 3rd or something of July, excuse me, I am going to fill them in. And I can probably fill them all in the time we stitch, because it's so easy to pour the drinks. There's no counting. You just have to like fill it in. So that should be really quick. And then I'm caught up with June, which is super exciting. This is stitched on a 14 count navy. I almost want to say ivory because my other one's on ivory. 14 count navy Aida that I just got in a tube from Joann's. So nothing special, and it's just in the called for DMC. So that is my temperature drink shelf, and I'm making really good progress. I'm really pleased with it. And I stitch in hand, so I just roll it up and put it back in its bag, and it's very convenient for me. And here are all my flosses. And the nice thing about this project is that with these little projects, all I'm doing is like stealing colors from this bag just to fill this in. So, you know, I know exactly what color it is and I can just do it. It's nice. It's nice and easy. Okay, are you ready? This is my HAED Lady and Unicorn. It is housed in my Thriller bag that I got from Jody at Trixie Tricycle. And if you remember last time I had a unicorn's ass, and I'm not going to put up, I'll just put up a picture of the, well, you're seeing it now, but it's the pattern keeper, me going through it thing, as opposed to the actual picture. So last time I had a unicorn's ass, and this time I have a whole ass unicorn. Look at that. I mean, it's super light, so it's hard to see, but that, my friends, is a unicorn. If this isn't a good picture, like if I can't see it very well when I am editing this, I'll edit in a picture, like a better picture so you can see. But I put in so many stitches. Like, I think Wednesday or Thursday, I did over 1,000 stitches on this unicorn on that day alone. So I probably put in at least 2,000 stitches, possibly 3,000 stitches this week on this unicorn. Like, I was determined to get a unicorn looking unicorn to show you all. And I did have to pick up another color that I didn't have that, I mean, you won't be able to see it, but there are kind of like, there we go, relatively large gaps. That's almost all one color. And I may at some point have to pick this out, this kind of beigey color right there, because my stitches are going the wrong way. I don't know, I like lost my mind for a moment. And my stitches are going the wrong way. When I'm looking at it, I can tell. But I don't want to pick them out unless I have to. You know, like this unicorn is so isolated right now that maybe when it's the stuff's around it, I won't be able to tell as much. It's frustrating me. We'll just say that. Right now it's frustrating me. And it just looks very different. So I'll have to see how that looks going forward. But luckily it's just like a clump of, I don't know, 30 stitches that are all together in like their little clump. That's the back. You can see my back. That's the clump right there. If I have to frog it and restitch it after I'm done kind of filling in this area, I will do that. And I think it'll be okay. This is stitched on, I think I had to get a yard, but I cut it. So it's like I had to buy a yard, but it's less than a yard. Oh man, I wish you could see what I see when I look at it. Anyway. But, oh, I'll scoot back. But she's a big girl. She's a big girl. My arms are short. This is the problem with having genetically short arms, is that you end up wearing your HAED. This is, like I said, I have it in Earth Designs, Lady and the Unicorn. I am stitching it on a 20 count ivory aida, 2/1, full cross. I like the thick coverage that it gives. And so far I have not had any trouble with the being able to get my needle through and stuff like that. This fabric was part of I got this fabric because I won a gift card from Carrie and Carrie and Stitches 1,000 subscriber giveaway. And so she paid for most of this fabric. And then I'm just kind of buying the flosses as I need them. And I'm keeping my flosses on floss drops that I got from all of you. Whoops, I'm gonna drop the whole thing. So the floss drops I'm using are from the Great Floss Drop Swap. And if that's not what it's called, that's what I'm calling it. So if you have made floss drops and I don't have them, I would love them because I'm gonna have like 90 colors and I don't have 90 floss drops. And I will, if you want my creepy babies, this is what my creepy baby floss drops look like. I will trade them with you and that will make me very happy because people aren't loving my creepy baby floss drops. I'm gonna start just like sending them out randomly to people. They're just gonna get like terrifying creepy babies in the mail. They're gonna like it too. That's what I say. So this is how I keep it all, and then I tie them to keep them under control, and that seems to be working for me. So that is how that works. Oh, and then I do have like a little baggie with ones that I have not put on floss drops yet, that I've used but have not put on floss drops. You know, when I only have like one skein of them for the whole project, I just stick it in there. And eventually it'll get a floss drop too, but I just couldn't be bothered, honestly. So that is my lady and unicorn. And that is all my whips. I'm gonna scoot up. Ugh. Exciting, exciting news. As you may remember, Haley Gilmore, who is a local artist, and I designed this chart back for the 5-year anniversary of the Women's March on Washington in January. And we decided for May and June that it would be a charity chart for a local abortion charity in our state of Mississippi. And those of you who don't know U.S. geography very well, Mississippi is in the deep South. It is very conservative, and abortion access was already very limited here. And in fact, the court case that went up to the Supreme Court that recently, you know, struck down Roe versus Wade, which is kind of our, it was a landmark decision, not just about abortion, but also about privacy rights and who has privacy rights and how much privacy rights you have, right? So the striking down of Roe v. Wade is going to affect all sorts of things. But anyway, the court case that went up to the Supreme Court came from my state. And so the lawsuit is very local, right? And anyway, so we ended up deciding to donate to the Mississippi Reproductive Freedom Fund, which is an abortion access charity. We were going to, well, we already have given all of our proceeds, actually all of our proceeds for all time up until June 30th, we gave to the Mississippi Reproductive Freedom Fund. And we raised $125 for the fund, and I matched it in full, and Haley matched it in full. So all of you who bought that chart, we sold 25 of them, and $5 went to the Reproductive Freedom Fund. Those of you who bought that chart essentially donated $15 to the fund. So we raised a total of $375 for the fund. And honestly, I'm really pleased with that. It makes me really happy. It makes me feel like I have done something productive with my hobby and my values and my channel. And I'm going to keep trying to find ways to help the fight for bodily autonomy for people with uterine. That is the goal. And by extension, bodily autonomy for everyone. Because if one group loses their bodily autonomy, then it's very easy to take it away from everyone else. And we in the US don't have a great history of supporting bodily autonomy. We have a history of forced eugenics. We have a history of forced medical procedures, like things like lobotomies, forced sterilization in indigenous communities and in prisons. So like, you know, bodily autonomy is a major tenet of a democratic and free society. And so having bodily autonomy taken away from one group is concerning, not just for us, which is enough. But if you can only be concerned because it affects you, this could easily affect you. All right, that's my soapbox. That's my historical perspective soapbox for this situation. I do have a little bit of shopping that I did. I bought a bunch of shoes, but you don't need to see my shoes. They're like cute, comfy summer shoes. But I did get some stitching books. I got some DMC, and I got some scraps, some weaving scraps. Let's talk about the DMC first, since it's right here and easy. I went to I went to Michael's craft store yesterday to pick up the color for my HAED, my Heaven and Earth design, and they had this box of DMC for $10. It has 36 skeins in it of the most popular colors according to the box, which is 27 cents a skein. I couldn't pass it up. Sometimes you just need to pick up your 27-cent skeins of floss. You can see here the colors that are in it. I'm not going to go through them. I'm sure that I have a lot of them, but they are the most popular colors, so there's no point in not having more. So that was my cool find from yesterday. I also got 3 sampler books in the mail because I have some ideas. I have ideas. You know I have ideas. If you've been with me any length of time, you know I'm always like scheming about something. So I got Jutta Lammer's Making Samplers New and Traditional Designs. And this does have, it has like historical samplers in it. Oops. But it also has like modern patterns. It has some reproductions. I have ideas. I have sampler ideas I want to do. Let's just put it that way. So this is Making Samplers New and Traditional Designs. The second sampler book I got is Brenda Keyes Traditional Samplers. And Brenda Keyes, of course, a lot of you have the Brenda Keyes Motifs book. And this also has it has some reproductions, and it has information about them, and then also patterns. So my plan isn't to copy patterns. My plan is to kind of study samplers to better understand how they're structured, right? Because I want what I'm doing to look like a traditional sampler. And then the last thing I got is Rebecca Scott Samplers. And this is really fun because it is a history of samplers. So it looks like it's by year. So here's a table of contents. And it looks like that it's organized by year. So you have 17th, 17th century, 18th century, Quaker samplers, samplers of the poor, 19th century, the American Connection, yeah, and then places to visit. So it gives you a history of samplers. I don't think that there are patterns in here. I think it's just history. And I find that completely delightful. Let's look at samplers of the poor. Look at that. So this is, and if anybody wants to do a quick flip through of this book, if you're interested in looking at it, I'm happy to do that. You know, like, what is a sampler? Why is this a sampler? And also this is a sampler. So this is the kind of thing that I want to learn. I want to learn, like, what makes a sampler a sampler? Because in essence, a sampler is supposed to be a stitch sampler. It's supposed to be like your little library of the stitches that you know, so you can reproduce them. That's that. I have designing plans, immediate designing plans for the next 2 weeks, because I want to finish up. I've been working on the next knick-knack expansion pack for my different, for the library, for the drink shelf, you know, for whatever, for bookmarks, whatever you want to do with them. So I'm working on that, and I have that all planned out, so I need to actually just do it this week. And then I also want to start working on my temperature, well, it's not going to be a shelf, my temperature pattern. I am going to do another temperature library pattern because I love the temperature library patterns. They make me very happy. Even if no one ever stitches one again, just having them makes me happy, so I can stitch them, because I want a library. I want like a record of every year in a library that I can hang up on my wall. But I also want to make an alternative pattern, an alternative temperature pattern that I'm really excited about. So I'm going to start working on that this week too. And it is hopefully going to be really whimsical and fun. and I hope that you will like it. But I would like to have the knick-knack expansion pack released before I leave in 2 weeks to go visit my family. And I hope to have the temperature pattern done by mid-August if possible. It's just such a much larger design, and so I think it will take longer. Although maybe not, because when I did my Space Invaders temperature pattern, which is this one, I did that and released it in a week. I was like focused. I was hyper focused on getting this done, and it makes me really happy. Oh, and then I forgot, I have scraps, and I'm just going to show you. So I go, we have local macrame artists who work at craft fairs around here. And so I messaged them one day, and I bought some stuff from them. And I messaged them and I said, do you have scraps that are like 1 or 2 feet long that you're not going to use? And she was like, oh my God, yes, we have so many scraps. I'm like, okay, cool. Can I buy them off of you? We've been trying to organize this for a while, and finally I saw them last Saturday at a local arts festival, and I messaged him and I said, bring scraps, bring those scraps. So I bought the whole bag of scraps, and if I can show you, they're just literally like scraps. So I have to go through this, but you know, pink, I have to go through this and like organize it and ball this up. But I have so much in here. Yeah, and they have different colors, and apparently zip ties. And this stuff, which is unpleasant, they use this for they make macrame angels, and they use this for their bodies, but I don't know what I would use it for. It doesn't feel very good. But they have some kind of really short stuff and some really long stuff. So anywho, I have scraps. So you will see, hopefully in the not too distant future, some scrappy weavings and some other weavings too. And I think that that's it for me. I'm not going to talk about plans other than doing more, finishing up these designs that I can do a review on Tuesday. Other than that, I think that's the only thing that I am absolutely planning on this week. That and working on my whips that I already have. There are other things that I would like to do, but I don't want to tell you in case I don't do them, and then I have to like disappoint everybody. I don't want to disappoint anybody. I don't usually disappoint people because I'm quite reliable in general. But I certainly don't want to disappoint you by saying, I'm going to work on this thing that you love, and then don't. So yeah, that's it for me. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to tell you a secret. I feel like I'm forgetting something. That's why I kind of just keep talking, hoping that something will click in my mind and I will say what I feel like I need to say. But it's not happening, so I'm going to go. So have a good week. Please take good care of yourselves and have a good one. Bye.